Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Hot Now here on the opening bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick from the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Let's take a look at the opening bell. Well, you know what? The polar vortex had smacked the bears yesterday, and it came as a surprise to many in the market who thought that we were going to see the bulls get a little bit of a cool down after the initial response to the Fed's rate increase, as well as their more hawkish stance going into 2017 and potential future rate increases. Now, this morning we have mixed action. The Dow Jones Industrial is up 35 points at 19,836. We have the Russell 2000 now in the green, up roughly about 50 cents at 1969.20. And we also have the NASDAQ up 12 points on the future side at 49.4675. And the S&P 500 is up 3 points. The E-mini futures are trading at 2261.25. We have the dollar strength still continuing slightly up in the green. We saw some weakness overnight in the dollar, but that dollar strength has been notable, as well as crude oil up 47 cents at 52.44. So what's interesting today, too, is that we have what's called quadruple witching. What is quadruple witching? For those of you that have never heard of the term, well, it's basically where we have the expiration of securities options, index options, as well as index futures and single stock futures. This is typically one of these expiration cycles that will typically have quite a bit of volume, and you could see some potential volatility. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the VIX right now, it's basically flat at 13 on the VIX. Now, there hasn't been a heavy slate of any corporate news or announcements at this juncture, except for the fact last night we saw Oracle, ticker symbol ORCL. We talked about this on Tech Talk, but they reported last night, and this should grab your attention a little bit. It's trading about 2% lower after reporting fiscal second quarter results and issuing guidance that basically did not impress institutional or retail investors. We also saw that on the same token, Honeywell, ticker symbol HON, was also down 2% this morning after they basically were tempering fourth quarter guidance, and they're offering some very conservative sounding guidance for fiscal 2017. Now, clearly, you can see that the markets are holding up right now in front of these and post all of these guidance and earnings misses. So the broader market isn't taking this, and some of the offsetting factors could be the fact that oil continues to run to the upside. Right now, taking a look at the crude oil contract, it's at 52.53, up about 56 cents or about 1%. Now, some may say, well, Joe, higher oil, more expensive oil, that means it's going to cost the consumer more. That's not good. Well, yeah, it could potentially cost more, but here's the thought process. The thought process is that there's demand. That means growth. That means if there's growth, that means that people are going to be looking to go to the upside on markets. The other thing is that as far as the crude markets are concerned, Goldman Sachs came out and continued to reaffirm their oil forecast for 2017. And some recovery efforts also in the bond markets. They see higher prices in the oil markets, and they're also seeing that they will continue to see that longer date yields might move a little bit lower. Looking elsewhere, we talked last night on the closing bell that you want to keep an eye on the housing starts and building permits. We saw the numbers come out this morning right before we jumped on the opening bell. The report for November was much weaker than expected. As a matter of fact, starts in particular were the most notable miss. They've declined by 18.7% to a seasonally adjusted rate of 1.09 million units. Now, this was far lower than what economists were basically expecting, especially since we saw such huge gains in October. This is a big drop-off. Now, there was a what was fueling October's pop was the 68.8% increase in multifamily unit dwellings. Really where the downturn was paced was about a 45% decline in multi-unit starts. And the Northeast took the biggest pullback with about a 52.1% decline in total starts. Now, there was a positive pocket in starts, and that was in the Midwest. There was a surge in single-family starts at 19.8%. We also saw that building permits declined by 14.7%, and the number of housing units under construction dipped about 0.9% to about a little over 1 million units, which is slightly below the fourth quarter average year over year of 1.049 million, but still above the three-quarter average of 1.03 million units. Still, giving a sentiment that there is residential construction that continues to potentially spur some positive inputs into the Q4 GDP forecast. The futures have not reacted negatively to this information right now. We're going to watch this. They're taking it in slide. Really, the bottom line is that I think that still most investors and traders are still scared about missing this post-election pop. That was representative of the move yesterday to the upside. I still think that the negative news right now is still basically totally muted because of the plenty of good economic news, plus what the potential destiny of some potential big stimulus packages coming into 2017 has left people pretty much so in a bullish stance. So that's it for the What's Hot Now on the opening bell. Join me at 1:30 Eastern Time, where I will be doing Strategy Now. I'm going to cover everything that's happening into the midday session and keep you in touch with what's going on in the market. So join us at MarketStream.live at 1:30 Eastern Time for Strategy Now. Till then, have a great trading day.